Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode. In today's episode, I'm going to be focusing on doing some stuff related to mystical agriculture. Reason being, some of these seeds that you can produce with mystical agriculture is really needed for us to progress on. In particular, if we take a look at basalt here. Oops, I didn't mean to put that. Alright, so if you take a look at basalt over here, we can produce 20 pieces of basalt by utilizing nether essence and a single piece of ice essence. Other ways to produce it would be liquid mob souls and lava, and let's see what else. We can also use blue ice and lava as well as soil, and we could potentially pick this up through loot jobs. But I want to try out this mystical agriculture method of producing various amounts of basalt. And the reason why we need to produce basalt, if we take a look at, where is it? Crushed basalt. So if we take a look at the crushed basalt uses, and we go through the sluicing of it, we can see, say with the diamond mesh and lava, we have a 40% chance of getting ourselves a netherrack, but we have a 4% chance of getting some debris scrap. And that debris scrap is what we are going to need in order to produce some netherite scrap. And that, in turn, is how we're going to get ourselves some netherite ingots to further upgrade our various items, such as the diamond sluice to a netherite sluice, or even in general just needing that ancient debris. So, let's go and take a look and see what we need to produce that netherite essence. Okay, so to make this netherite essence, we're going to need nether seeds. And to produce that, we need some prudentium essence, which should be something that we can do. But we need some nether algo something. I can't pronounce that. And to get that, we need netherrack, soul sand, nether bricks, and nether wart. Let's see what out of those things do we actually possess. Out of that, we only have access to netherrack. Now we can make ourselves some nether bricks because we can just simply cook that netherrack to get ourselves some nether bricks. The nether wart, that's another thing. We need some nether essence as well as some nature essence in order to produce some nether wart. But that's kind of roundabout, isn't it? We can also get that through crushed netherrack by sluicing it with a gold mesh. Oh, okay. That's where we can get this nether quartz. I think that's exactly what we're gonna do now to get that nether quartz. To get that nether, what was it again? My brain. To get that nether wood, because I do not believe we have any nether wood. So for soul sand, let's see. We can use this method here. Liquid mob souls and some reds and some sand. Okay, so let me go build myself a gold mesh. Firstly, let's click on that. Okay, now left we go back over here to, let's actually pop down and see. Do I have? No, I don't. Okay, so if we swap these out, we should, and there we go, we're already getting ourselves some nether wart. Okay, good. But we're going to need at least a few pieces of that, if I'm not correct. Because we need to make 4 of these. So that means we're going to need at least 4 pieces of nether wart in order to produce the required amount of this material. We can also produce this nether brick, now the soul sand. I think this may be the best and only alternative that we have here to produce it, because okay. Yeah, this may be the best method to produce it. So I'm gonna see. Oh, okay. So we can we have mob souls because we have our mob farm, and we can just simply produce Okay, let's go get some of those things, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've gathered the mob souls that, you know, our farms has been actually producing, and I've brought it over here to our little setup with the jars. I've put a blue magma block underneath it to get ourselves some high temperature, and this is essentially how you go about making the liquid version of the mob souls. So if we break this now, so let's just put this over there for now. We can take a look at soul sand. There we go. Do we have everything? I have enough sand in there, and I have 1,000 millibuckets. It's 1,000, right? Yeah, 1 bucket. So yeah, let's make this. There we go. So now we have the soul sand. So put that there. We can now make ourselves there it is. We can now make ourselves this little thing. So let me just quickly save that. So let's go up into our crafting table over here. It doesn't actually have to be this. Oh, it's nighttime. So let's put you there, you there, you there, and there. And that's gonna give us the 4 nether whatchamacallit. So now we're gonna need 4 Pedentium Essence. So let's take a look. Yeah, you. Okay, so we're gonna need a total of 4 of these guys. Thankfully we have enough. Okay, there's the 4. And what else? We need the seeds. Seeds. There it is. We have a prosperity seed base. Okay. So I'm going to go and quickly sleep and turn this back into daytime. And then when I come back, we'll be standing right over there by our mystical agricultural setup. Okay. So now that we're here by our mystical agriculture setup, we can begin by putting down these guys. That's the 4. And put the seed base in, and this will come on. There we go. We got ourselves the nether seeds, which again in the garden clutch can give us the nether essence. So now all we need to produce is the ice essence. Now I have already produced this ice essence, you know, just trying to see if I can actually make it. But you may be wondering, how on earth's name do we get this ice essence? Because if we take a look here at some of the requirements for it, let me add this. So for our ice essence, well, we need ice seeds, obviously. But to produce this, let me save that. We need 4 pieces of ice. But to make ice, we need sub-zero temperatures for the water in a jar, so the jar's completely out. We can use ice essence to produce ice, which kind of is, you know, roundabout, because currently we don't have ice to begin with, or even ice essence, so we can't make it that way. We can use mana infusion, but I personally haven't gotten into this entire mana setup. A blastula seems promising, but how do you make it? Oh, we need to pack ice, and we don't have any packed ice. So we're back to square one here. So blastula is out of 2 options. A multi-servo press, ooh, that seems like it can give us some ice here. Oh, but we need packed ice. So you can see the problem. So this leaves this option here left for us. But how do you get this ice charge? Okay, we're going to need some bliss powder. We have a lot of gunpowder, and we have charcoal or coal. How do you get bliss powder? Oh, this bliss cube. Where do you get these bliss cubes, you may say? Well, if we take a look at some of the mob jobs that we got from our setting up our mob farm, we'll see where to get enough bliss cubes. Let me just make my way across there. Alright. One of the mobs that this cursed it, well, I temporarily disabled it. One of the mobs that it produces gives us the Blizz cubes. Now, I only have 30 here, but I have already inputted all of that into my refined storage system. So let me hop up. And if we go take a look in our refined storage system over here, here it is. We can deposit this. We have a total of 145 Blizz cubes. So let's just take this little amount. We're not going to deposit all of that. Now, if we take a look and see the uses for this Blizz cube, we can use it through soul extraction, which, we don't need that. But we can put this into a pulverizer with some flint and get ourselves some Blizz powder. So we're going to do, I don't know, say 2 of them just for show purposes. Because that's going to give us 6, if I'm not mistaken. This is going to give us 6 Blizz powder, which we can then combine to make these ice charges, sorry. So let me come over here. Now I temporarily set up this pulverizer. I already have the flint in there. So we're going to put 1, 2 in there. Now this may take a little while. So, come on. That's 1, and that gave us 4 Blizz powder. So, if we go again, check back the uses of this, we can combine this with gunpowder and charcoal to produce ice charges. So let's click. That's 3. That's 3 ice charges that we get off of 1 Blizz powder. So I can clear this now. And do I have any buckets? Yes, I do. With that, we can just go quickly into our inventory here and just craft this. And that's how we're going to get ourselves some ice. Okay. Now I'm just crafting 2 because I've already crafted the next component, which is these ice seeds. We just need to craft 4 pieces of ice, combine that with some Infernium Essence, as well as that Prosperity Seed base that we have crafted a few of, in our same infusion altar, and we're gonna get ourselves those ice seeds. So if we come over here, yes, things are looking a little bit different, because I've built a complete second floor here, and moved and placed some additional garden closures, because I knew in mind that I wanted to do mystical agriculture in this episode. So, which one was it? Here we go. We have our ice seeds working away, making us some ice essence. So if we come up here, we can see how much we've gathered thus far. Now we need to set up these nether seeds. So let me see. This is a which tier? This is a tier 2. Let's see what farmland we have. Okay, so we have a Prudentium. Can I make another one of you? Come on. There we go. So you made another one of you, and you're gonna hop down here. We're gonna go right here, and we're gonna put each of these things in there. Oh, I already have these Obsidian Essence. That was something that I obtained from a random quest reward, so that's why we have that there. So now that we've let some time has passed, and I've let this nether essence accumulate a little bit, I'm going to show you how we are actually going to use the nether essence and that ice essence over here. So we can just grab 1 piece, because that's all we need, to make ourselves some basalt. So if we put this right here, we're going to get 20 pieces of basalt. Now I'm just going to clear that crafting grid. So this basalt, we need to actually start getting ourselves some ancient debris. And the reason why is because, say, we want to do some diamond essence. That's going to require some supremium essence. And these essences, each of these are going to require a diamond of sort. And so much so, if we simply go over here into my crafting grid and we search it up again, the amount that we need for 4 supremium essences, that's the amount what we're going to need, which is way more than we actually have in terms of our diamonds. Currently, the best source of diamonds that we have is through sluicing. That gravel over there in this particular room here, if we take a look, we can see right now we only have about 30 diamond clusters. And at best, with our doubling that we currently have, that's only 60 diamonds, which isn't necessarily the best use of our resources. So we're going to have to work on something for that. And that something, in particular, is going to be a little bit of industrial foregoing. Now, I know I did say I wanted to do more of mystical agriculture in this episode, but as you can see, to do some of the further things that we need, that I would like to do, we're running into some serious walls. So to start making headway and removing those walls, it's best as well that we get ourselves into some ore processing with industrial foregoing. Now to do that, it's relatively straightforward. So if we take a look at industrial foregoing, where is it? Let me say, once I find these things, I will quickly save it as well. Fermentation station, that's one of them. Fluid sieving machine, I just saw it, there it is. And washing factory. So these are the 3 machines that we're going to need. So let's start off with the first step, which is the washing factory. We're going to need an advanced machine frame, which is going to require some pink slime and 2 netherite scrap, as well as a simple machine frame, which we can actually make relatively easy. The fluid sieving machine just requires an advanced machine frame, which again we sadly need 2 nether scrap for. So in total, how much nether scrap do we actually need? Need 1, 2, 3, 4, and this one, yeah. So we need a total of 4 nether scrap. But in order to get nether scrap now, if we quickly check a look over here, to get this, we need debris scrap in order to produce, and in particular we need 9 debris scrap to produce a single piece of netherite scrap. And to get this, we need to sluice crushed basalt in lava with a diamond mesh to get a 4% chance. And if we did that with, say, a gold mesh, we only have a 2% chance. Now, while I've let this world run a little bit AFK, I've actually sluiced quite a lot of basalt. So much so that, hang on, once it starts operating again, there we go. We have obtained only a small amount this debris scrap. Like I said, we needed, I think, 4 pieces of netherite scrap. So that means we will need 4 by 9, which is 36 pieces of debris scrap in order to get the 4 pieces of netherite scrap that we actually need for those 2 machines. Again, the end goal of using these machines is to create diamond seeds, which would allow us to get, some more diamonds. Because again, this is our only supply of diamonds thus far, which is simply not cutting it. So, one way, like I said, to get this debris scrap is by generating basalt. Now, we can't use the essence that we got from mystical agriculture to generate this basalt. However, that requires us crafting and combining it. But there is another way. If you guys remember, if we take a look back again at basalt, this little guy, this Igneous Extruder. This requires blue ice, soul soil, which we can use in the same nether essence and earth essence to produce soul soil. So let's actually save this and see if we can get into this. So I'm going to save you. So the Igneous Extruder doesn't seem too complicated to make. Again, click back here. So the soul soil and the blue ice. The blue ice, we need 9 pieces of packed ice. Luckily, 9 pieces of ice essence gives us 20 pieces of packed ice, so we can easily get this blue ice. The soul soil. Now we already created those nether essence, but we need to produce earth essence. So let's see how we're going to make that. This is a tier, what tier seed is this? This is, I think you're a tier 1. Yep, a tier 1 seed. So you're going to need 4 pieces of infernium and earth, whatever that is. Oh, so we're going to need dirt, gravel, clay ball, and grass. Grass is going to be interesting to get. Let me see if we have any grass thus far. Do I have a single piece of grass? Grass seed. Do you have any uses? Okay, hang on. Let me see. I don't think I ever created shits. Are you for crafting or are you for actual usage? Let's see if we can get ourselves some grass. Thankfully, we still have some grass blocks over there. Let me see if this works though. Grab you. Ah, there we go. That still works. Nice. Let's break all of that. So now we have the grass that we needed. So let's go back to our crafting grid over here. And now let's make those 4 pieces that we needed. Dump all of this and back in. Okay, so soul soil, you need earth essence, which I should save. And earth essence, you need earth seeds. We need this. So let's add that. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that's the first thing done. We can remove that from our list. Now, we just need the 4 pieces of infernium, which we have quite a bit. That goes so. And we need the prosperity seeds. Oh, let me just quickly search. Where is our prosperity seeds? There it is. Okay. Now let's head back over to our mystical agriculture infusion altar. And we can create this. Get these things out. We're gonna put you here. Just to show that the order doesn't actually matter. That's clearly not the order that that's supposed to go in. So, and it's still functioning. Okay, so now we have earth seeds. So then, that earth seeds is what we're gonna actually, we just need 1 essence actually to produce the soul soil. So let me head back into our little grow house over here. I quickly also need, let me just check the uses. I think you're going to need some farmland, yes. Oh, you can go on any block. Even dirt blocks, okay. Let's see if we have any farmland here actually though. Oh, thankfully I still have 1 prudentium farmland saved. So I'm gonna put you right here. Not the shares. Put the earth seeds in because I have the nether seeds here. And now this is gonna grow. But once this goes, we're gonna get ourselves that earth essence. In the meantime, we can go and craft the other component that we need for inside Igneous Extruder, which is, I can just do it from here. Give me this. It's 20 pieces of packed ice. And that's a blue ice. We can craft 2 of those. Might as well craft this little guy. Constant. Ooh, what do I need for this? That is a good question. We can get the copper dust, we can get the nickel dust and a fire charge. Okay. So I should probably teach our system how to do that so this way I can get the exact amount that I need. Let me go do that quickly. We should be able to control click and start making those things. So there we go. That's the Constantine gear. And that's the Igneous Extruder. Okay. Oh, I should have grabbed that. Let's grab some mechanical pipes just to be safe. As well as the blue ice. And cables. I don't think this needs power, but wouldn't hurt to just carry it just to be safe. Oh, this needs power. So I'm just going to quickly put that in there. Let's hop down by the time. Yep, we produced the Earth Essence nicely. And I'm going to put you right there. So, how many of this do we have? Okay, nice. We have enough. So, to make the soul soil, we can do this. Clear that. Put that there. It's up here. Grab our tool back. And let's head right here. Back to our big sluicing corner. So now that we're back into our main sluicing area, it's time to set this thing up. So we're going to put this right here. And on this side, we're going to put our little ice block. We're also going to come behind that right here and put a piece of cobblestone and put our lava. And we need to put this on top of the soul soil, like so. And we can place back the cobblestone right here. So let's see. You're producing the basalt. Nice. Let's see if I can take this item pipe. Can I connect there? Now I may change this out for a logistical transporter. I just send this back, didn't I? Yep. Sweet. Oh, we gotta be careful with that. But now we're automatically producing the basalt using this Igneous Extruder. Okay, so now we have this Igneous Extruder set up and fully functioning. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of prefer this machine block to do the basic task for us. It doesn't require any RF, nor does it require us to basically be consuming any particular resource. Our nether essence is going to continue growing inside our growing house. Same for our ice essence. It's not going to be continuously consumed every time we need to produce some basalt. Furthermore, it's doing this completely autonomously. We don't need to be here. Now I'm just here because I'm just staring at it, but we don't need to be here for this basalt to be generated and gone through the entire process, which to me saves us a lot of time as we can be off doing other things. But nevertheless, all the work that we put in to create the ice essence, as well as the nether essence, and even the earth essence, those things will not be wasted, as I'm pretty sure, as you guys can probably tell, given the fact that we had multiple uses for the nether essence and that ice essence, I'm pretty sure that those things were going to come back up anyway. So, let's see what else. Well, now we actually just have to wait. A lot of waiting for this debris scrap. While that is going to be, functioning actually, I'm going to set up a very important component for our industrial for going. Let me just clear my inventory. And let's head over to another area, in particular, that hut. Okay, now that we're back in this little hut over here, I have crafted the resources that we're actually going to need for this latex generation setup. First thing that you're going to need is a fluid extractor. Now I have 6 of these, but They're relatively simple to make. You need some iron, some cobblestone, a light weighted pressure plate, which is just 2 pieces of gold, and a pity machine frame and a piston. Piston is standard Minecraft, it doesn't need much resources. The pity machine frame uses some cast iron, some wood, and a block of redstone. So basically, relatively simple stuff. We're also going to need a latex processing unit. And if you click here, you can see how simple this one is as well to make. Some iron, some redstone, that same pity machine frame, some water, latex bucket, and a furnace. Now, when you're starting out, you may not have that latex bucket, but I'll quickly show you how to actually get that. The last thing that we're going to need, or I suggest getting, is a mechanical placer, which, sadly, I'm going to have to search up. So, click on this. You can see how simple this one is to make. You need some gold, some pieces of diamond, redstone, and a dispenser. Now I'm going to be crafting 2 of those and 6 of these fluid extractors, as you guys can see. And once I've placed each of these, I'll show you how to get the necessary latex in order to produce this latex processing unit. So let's get started, shall we? Now, I'm going to get a placeholder block, say oak. Do I have any oak wood? This should suffice. I'm going to place you right smack dab in the middle. That's the middle, not this one. Okay, with that in mind, we're going to place our 2 mechanical places like so. And then I'm going to come with our wrench here, just to simply rotate them in the appropriate orientation that I want. Next, I'm going to come behind this with our 6 fluid extractors. Both of them, 2 here, facing in, 2 here, also facing in, and 2 here, facing in. Now, we can provide these with power, or we can allow them to function as is. So, let me take these basic universal cables here. Let's bring this down. Not there, sorry. Let's back this up 1 cable. There we go. And split this off and bring this down. Poop. Place this one, didn't I? Yep. Let me just reconfigure this. Okay. That cable goes there. And why am I 1 cable short? Let me go grab a cable. That's not how you spell cable. There we go. Okay. Now each of our fluid extractors are powered. The next thing that we're going to need to do, the best usage to obtain the best amount of latex, you need acacia wood. So, acacia. I always spell acacia wood wrong, don't know why. And we're going to need those wood essence. Now, thankfully, I believe I have this saved. Yes, we do. So I'm just going to produce a stack of acacia wood. Like so. And once that's done, we're going to come, place that in our mechanical placer, and let these function for a little bit. That's going to build up some latex in each of these fluid extractors. Next, you will need to come, well, I suggest you coming with behind this with 1 singular bucket and just chuck it right in here. So when this generates enough latex, it's going to automatically deposit it right here into this bucket. So I'm going to wait for this to take place, actually. Okay, so I waited a while and it's finally produced the latex bucket. Now, if you so needed, well, in your case, you may need to, we go and search up this latex processing unit here. you would be able to craft this. So I'm just going to deposit that in our refined storage now. And I'm going to connect this latex storage unit right here. This latex processing unit, not storage. Now this processing unit is going to need two fluids. It's going to need the latex right here in the first column. That's what this is for. It's going to need water right here. And then over here is going to be the output. Now, to get the latex into this is actually relatively straightforward. You can pipe it if you so need to, but I personally prefer to just use refined storage to handle all of this. So we're going to put down an exporter right here. And we're going to switch this over to fluids. And we're going to drag latex from the JEI into it. And so, it's going to start processing those latex and producing tiny dry rubber pieces for us. Now, in this case, I'm going to stop it. And that's actually how you stop it. You just remove it. Now I'm going to put an importer right here down below. The reason why I stopped it is simply because I don't exactly have too much latex in our system, and I don't want this to fill up. So now, we come behind over here. We slap an importer right there. Let's clean this up and put back that block there. Now let me just climb up over here. So now this is fully set up. Any latex that this processes into a tiny dry rubber piece, it's going to be imported into our refined storage system. Now we need to handle the importation of all of the latex that these machines produce. So we're going to slap importers on the back of each of these, like so. Now I'm going to come behind that with some cables. So I'm going to make use of this jetpack because I don't really feel like going and grabbing blocks to place it. And we're going to climb up here and we're going to connect these things up. So I say right over here. We're going to just bring this across, right around. Bring this down to this one over here. And same over here. I'll bring that up. One more. There we go. I think it was one more, yeah? Yeah. Okay, and then we're going to wrap this around to the front. Like so. And just for symmetry, I'm just going to complete this. Like this. So that goes there. Okay. So now, I'm going to trip this cable. We need to configure this until let's import fluids. Like so. And make sure we do this right around. So now we are producing latex. And the good thing is, once each of these destroys this block, this acacia log, the mechanical placer will automatically place down an acacia block for us. So we don't have to sit here and babysit this. We can go off and do our thing, which is kind of good. Now, we need to teach our refined storage system what to do with that tiny dry rubber, because Industrial Foregoing will be utilizing those latex in a multitude of ways. So let's search up the uses for this. Now we can already tell that we can use this in the Dissolution Chamber, so it's worthwhile to build some fluid drives to actually store this. We take a look back here. I believe it's this one. I have some fluid drives that have already been working and functioning in the background for a bit, and they've actually accumulated quite a good bit of fluid. Now, for the patterns, I would suggest that you go through and teach your system, not this piece. Let's look for the tiny dry rubber. Okay, so I will go through and suggest you teach your system how to make dry rubber, and then in turn teach it how to make plastic by sending it to, say, an energized smelter or any smelter, and putting those things in the required machines in your crafter, so this way your system can actually auto-craft it. The next thing that I would suggest you guys set up is this right here. this is a Dissolution Chamber. As soon as I can just simply hop on one block, that would be nice. Dissolution Chamber is actually pretty simple to make. Requires a pity machine frame, diamond gear, some gold, buckets, and plastic. That's why I kind of told you guys in the previous step there that it's worthwhile to go and teach your refined storage system what to do with that tiny dried rubber. Because you're going to need it right here. And this is going to be a simple processing block, just like all those other mechanism blocks over there. Because we're going to have to put some patterns. So for instance, I have the pattern for a simple machine frame, as well as a processing tier 2 and a speed tier 2 upgrade in this particular unit. Now, what that means is we can simply go into our refined storage system and search it up, processing, and I would suggest doing these in particular, and tell our system to craft it. I'll have an extra one, but I'm going to show you immediately what this is used for. Since I already have these crafted, I don't have to wait around crafting them, but you can craft those things and simply come back over here and place one of each in these guys. Now I am aware I'm one short, but the reason I'm one short is simply because I don't exactly have all the resources needed to make for everything, sadly. So we're going to have to remember that this back one here, these two back units, doesn't have processing or speed tier upgrades, but it should be okay. It's just going to increase the speed in which this operates though. Like, you can see how quickly it operates, and it's going to be processing and obtaining latex very quickly. Now all of that was done for a simple goal. As I said, I wanted to do it into ore processing. That's the word. I wanted to get into ore processing using industrial foregoing. And we're going to need to make some of these machine blocks. In particular, we now know how to make plastic. We're going to teach our system how to make this advanced machine frame and these pink slime ingots and so forth like that. But as you see, for the pink slime ingots, we're going to need a dissolution chamber. So it's best that we start teaching our system about these things. So pink slime ingot, that's how you make it. That's going in our dissolution chamber. This also going in there. That's why we need that netherite scrap. For those of you that may have forgotten. We would know how to handle this advanced machine frame, so this is no biggie. And we already know how to do the simple machine frame, so let's go over here and deposit these two things. Now you may be saying, how do we get pink slime? Well, you remember that mob masher that I used in a previous video? We're gonna be utilizing something close to it. We're going to need a mob, I believe it's the mob slaughter one. Yeah, we're going to need one of these. So we're going to control click and start making some of these things while we make the remainder. So let's make this gold gear quickly. Put you there. We're going to need 2 swords. So 1, 2. 2 axes. That's 1. That's 2. So now we can make this mob slaughter factory. Okay. Let me hop all the way over here to our mob farm right here. So we're going to place this right here. Now we're going to need 2 tanks, and we're going to need a power source. Put the power source. No, I shouldn't put the power source here. That went in this system, didn't it? Yes, it did. And okay, it dumped it. Oops. Yeah, I'm gonna have to be careful working around here. Alright. Let me go craft the 2 tanks, and I'll replace my block for this, as well as get some power for this. So I'll be right back. So I'm going to place this right here. We're going to come with this quantum entangler portal here. Quickly going to actually unlock one of these chest drawers. Unlock you. So if any item goes in there, it won't be trashed instantly. And I'm going to put 2 of these not there. I'm going to put 1 there, 1 there. So now I'm going to send you to wind power, go to energy, and put you on. So now this is going to start triggering. But unfortunately, if we click on showing working area, that's not good. This isn't going to work. We need some range upgrades. So, what range upgrades do we have for this? Range upgrade wise, I think a tier 8 might be a little bit too much because this is going to need... I don't think it's too expensive. Tier 5, we could get a buy with a tier 5. So I'm going to try a tier 5 and see if that's good enough. Okay. So the last thing that you're going to have to put inside this mob slot factory is actually a range upgrade. And a range upgrade isn't that expensive. Now I'm using the tier 5 and you'll actually see how big this area is. So we have some blaze powder, some latex. Remember, we have our latex setup running and functioning. Some glass plane and some redstone. So we're going to put this in and you're going to see it encapsulates the entirety of our mob farm. So we won't have to worry about even moving them. They'll just be destroyed. So I can hide the work area. And now I'm going to go back inside of there and actually put on put back down on the cursed earth to start generating some of these pink slime. And we're going to, as a byproduct, some meat as well. Some liquid meat, actually. So let me do that. Okay, so we can see our liquid meat is actually fully functioning. And we need to push this out because this is really, really going quickly. And now we're going to have our pink slime pushed out to this side. Why are you not pushing? Oh, there we go. Whoa, that was a lot. So, yeah. Now, the reason why this works is because... Why are you... unless you... Okay, I feel like you decided to target me for some reason. Because, yeah, so the reason why this can run dual function is because our mob farm in the back there isn't actually on. If we turn it on, they'll start blasting across over here and start to be crushed by the mob masher. But if our mob farm isn't working, they're just going to stand right there on top of that cursed earth. And thankfully, because of our range 5 upgrade, they're still well within range of the mob slaughter factory. So this way we have a dual purpose kind of mob farm. And it's going to generate us quite a significant amount of pink slime. And in particular, we're actually going to need this pink slime later on. When we start to do some of the crafting of these, like, you know, this particular block, the pink slime here. I think this also needs pink slime. The sieve, you need it because of the advanced machine frame. And the fermentation, you don't really need that. So I'm going to let this generate. I can actually store this remain of blocks right here. Yeah, nothing's actually being obtained from in terms of loot because all of those things are just dying flat out. The XP is being captured. Okay, good to know. Okay, so now that I'm back into my main sluicing area where we have our crushed basalt functioning. Like, woo, this is actually really working. We have a surplus of this now. Okay, that's good. Really good. So we have obtained 37 debris scrap. So let me just check back. Do I need a high temperature? Yes, I do. All right. So I'm going to break this. We're going to put you right there. Slap this in right there. And search up. Netherite. Okay. So we're gonna let this fire off. That's gonna take a little while, but we're gonna need to process the 4 that we actually can get with our current amounts of debris scrap. Yep. One more. The wandering trader. Alright, nice. So I'm just gonna put you back right here for now, because... Oh wait, no I can't. I don't think I can reach it. That's why. Alright, so with this now, we can actually set up. I'm gonna send you back away. Let's go to start making some of these things. I'm in the crafting guild. Okay, good. Alright, so the advanced machine frame, let me go quickly and set this pattern. Advanced machine frame, this is what you need. I'm gonna put you there. I'm gonna put you in the Dissolution Chamber. So that's set up. Click this. Now our system knows how to make this, but it doesn't have the pink slime just yet. That's why the machines are working. So this one should be covered. What about you? Doesn't know how to make gold gears. So let's make those 2 gold gears quickly for it. And we have iron bars. Doesn't know how to make pink slime. So let's teach it. Oh, wrong thing. Pink slime. Let's teach our system that one time. And everything here should be good. Okay. So this should be our last pattern that we need to input. And now it's just a little bit of a waiting game for our pink slime to generate. So I'm going to let that generate. And once that's generated, say a little bit, I'll import it into the system by literally just bringing it over here, by bringing that tank over here and slapping an importer onto it and changing over to fluids. So this way our fluid drives right here would be able to import the fluid. Alright, and I'll see you guys when that's done. So I have successfully imported the pink slime into our refined storage system. If we take a look here, you can see we have some pink slime now. So let's start off by making the washing factory components. So let's control click. Those things will be making. There we go. So now we have the first thing, the washing factory. Now let's see the fermentation factory, or the fermentation station. Alright, control click again. Let's start making each of those things, and let's just check it out. Its progress in the crafting monitor, shall we? Okay, I think that's it done there. Wrong one. Nice, that's a fermentation done. Now, let's see the fluid sieve machine. Do we have everything? Yes, we do. Nice. So the fluid sieve machine we're going to set up next. This is taking a little bit longer. I think we have it. I just may have messed up something with it. Fluid sieve. Yeah, I messed up. Let me see this. Yeah, it has water. Ooh. So let me just quickly just tell this. Import the fluid. There we go. Alright, I'm probably gonna have to hook up another importer on this just in case. For, just for safety purposes. So now we have these 3 machines finally. We did all of that to get these 3, and these 3 machines are going to be very useful. So let me firstly show off, take a look at this fermentation. So C1 full. So this is double time, so we can actually get 2 times ore processing. Don't need any catalyst. We can get 3 times ore processing. So 3 times our ore, whatever ore that we put in here and run through these machines, we can get 3 times it. 4 times ore processing, we're going to need some pink slime. And 5 times ore processing, we're going to need some ether gas. Okay. So with that in mind now, we need to start setting this up. Now I'm going to set this up. Let's see, probably here. Or maybe I should set it up down below. Because I'm going to need a lot of sand as well. Okay, I'm going to think about where I'm going to set this up. And I'm going to do a dry run and testing behind off camera a little bit. Once I've figured it out, where I want to place it, and some of the various settings that you need to go through for this, I'll be right back then. So some time has passed and I have figured out how I fully want to automate the system. So the first thing that we're going to need ourselves is a crafter of some sorts. I've personally chosen to do a diamond crafter, but you can use any tier of crafter that you have. We're also going to need an energized smelter, an enrichment chamber, 4 quantum entangler porters, an interface, and a controller. Along with that, we'll need 1 advanced blue connector and few of these standardized blue connectors. Now, these 4 quantum entangler porters. The catch with these guys, you may not necessarily need to utilize these. However, the only reason why I am utilizing each of these entangler porters is to wirelessly transfer fluids all the way from our mob farm in that building way back there over here. So let me go and start setting those up, because those are these 2 blocks are the only 2 blocks that we'll need to put over here. So if we make our way back here and drop down, let's get one of these boys out. We're going to set it right here. Next, we're going to go into it and make sure it's configured properly. You can take off all the configurations on all the different sides, but the main focus is really your fluid side. And okay, so we want this no output to the top. We want our input to come from the right hand side, like so. So now, if we look into this, this is going to be, take a look here. Let's make sure that this doesn't have anything. All right, let's do liquid meat. And now it will transfer all as much liquid meat from this tank into this quantum entangler portal. Now we're going to have to do the same for our pink slime. So we're going to put down an next quantum entangler portal right there. We're going to go into its configuration, in particular its fluid, and we're going to set its input to be on the left side. Then we're going to just tell us that we want to have it on this pink slime channel. There we go. So any pink slime that is generated from this mob slaughter factory is pushed over into the simple black hole tank, and then that is in turn pushed over to this quantum entangler portal. These tanks here act as buffer zones because, as you can see, these quantum entangler portals only have a limited amount of space to begin with, and we won't necessarily be pushing through all of this so quickly. Okay, now let's head over to our main setup over here. Okay, so now that we're over here, we're going to place a few dirt blocks as a placeholder block there. And let's see, we can put this one here, one more. We're going to put that. So that is our XNet controller set up. And we're going to come right here. Nope. I'm going to place... No, we shouldn't place the interface there. I'll place the interface over one more. Like so. I'm going to pick up this dirt. We're going to come and give our system power like so. Break that. Want the power to come in on top. And I just put that in the wrong spot. Okay, so now our XNet controller has power. Now we're going to come behind this and give it a single connector. Now next to this, we are going to put our washing factory, our fermentation factory, and our fluid sieve machine. Now I'm going to put these right here on the bottom. So that goes our washing factory on first, then our fermentation, and then our fluid sieve machine. Remember that crafter that we made? We're going to put that right on top of our washing factory. So if we check inside of it, it will say washing factory. So therefore we know it's fired in, it's lined up correctly. Just check something right here. If I put you here, there we go. So that entire thing's fully connected and running. Okay. Now we're going to come with our enrichment chamber and our energized smelter. We're going to put these right here. Now I ran this power line for this dissolution chamber. Incidentally, it's also going to work out well for our enrichment chamber and our energized smelter, which will go right here, because it's going to give a dedicated power. So even if our XNet system is not able to satisfy the power needs that these machines will have, it's going to still get the power that it needs from the direct line that's going to it. Okay, so now let's take those quantum entangler porters that we have. So we're going to put them down right there. Now we're going to go into each of these, in particular to the fluid one. We're going to disable this one right here. And we're going to tell it to eject out to the top. And we're going to do that on both of these. Like so. And we're going to make sure fluid eject is on in both of these machines. Okay. So now, oh, I put you in the wrong spot, didn't I? Yes, I did. You're supposed to be over here. Make sure. All right. So in our washing factory, this requires meat as an input. So we are going to set this to the liquid meat channel. And if we take a look, we have liquid meat going into the washing factory. Our fermenter. Now this is the interesting block. As you can see over here, we can ore multiply. So we can go all the way up to 5 times ore production. The only difference is 1 is going to require 300 seconds, and 2 it's going to require ether gas. Unfortunately, we don't have ether gas at this point. But if we take a look at 4 times ore processing, which may take 120 seconds, but it requires pink slime. And guess what? We have pink slime. So we're going to go into the quantum entangler porter, and we're going to tell it to go onto the pink slime channel. And there you go. Pink slime's running into our fermentation factory. Now, if we go around front, we can go through the configurations of each of these machines without being too confused. So our output, we want it to go to the right. So we're going to push our output to the right. Our fermentation factory, we want our input to be pulled in from the left or the north side. And we want the output, like that, output here. We want this to be pushed out to the right. Lastly, our fluid sieve machine. This is where it's going to get a little bit interesting. So we want it to pull items for our input fluid here from the left. Now, the yellow component, which is the sand, we want to disable all of these other ones, because we're going to put a connector to the back, and that is what's going to provide us with the sand. So if we take a look and find, yeah, here's the back. We wanted to pull items out from the back. Now, for our output, we can choose any side that we want. In my case, I'm just going to tell it the south side for its output of any items. Okay, now we're going to grab that advanced connector and those blue connectors. So the advanced connector, we're going to slap it on to the fluid sieve machine. And you'll see why in a bit. Now we're going to come behind each of these machines here and simply connect them using XNet. I'm just going to need a XNet cable. I am not sure if I have those. Oh, I guess I do. So if we come right here and disconnect that, we can see our entire system is actually connected now. Okay. Okay. So all that remains for us to do now is to basically configure this. So in our first channel, we are gonna set up for sand basically. So we're gonna be using an XNet item channel. So we're gonna create. We're gonna call it sand. Okay, so we want to tell us from our interface, you're going to extract a stack and you're going to insert it into the fluid sieve machine here. So we're going to create, and if we go right across into our interface and tell it to export a stack of sand, and we take a look now, we can see, oh, quickly, our fluid sieve machine has already been stuffed full of sand, which is good. The next thing that we're going to need to do is to create an item channel for our output. So let's take a look at that. So we're going to call this the dust output, or sand output if you wish, because any item that comes out of our fluid sieve machine is going to be in dust form, and we're going to need to process it using either the energized smelter or the enrichment chamber. And we're going to tell our XNet system basically to insert it into these two machines. Depending on where it will fit, it'll automatically go into that respective machine. Now, if we take a look at our induction. Right, so this induction smelter, you can also utilize this if you so wish. Me personally, I'm not really bothered to use this at this point, but if you guys so wish to or rather use this, you can. There's sufficient enough amount of channels there to get the catalyst that you need for the induction smelter to work, if you so choose to use that as well. So back into XNet, we're going to tell it to take the items from, hang on, let me remove this because I may have changed something. Okay, right. So we're going to tell it to take the items out of our fluid sieve machine, and we're going to insert it into these machines here. But we need to change the side. So I believe that south side I had set this to. Where's our output going? Our output's going to the south side. Right, so we're extracting from the south side our output only from our fluid sieve machine, and we're going to be inserting them into our energized smelter and our enrichment chamber, which lastly we need to go into and make sure that we have our back slot for each of these machines set as our input and our output. Now we need to just go and make one last channel for items. And we can call this finished items. Because now, or finished ingots, or whatever you may wish to call them. But I'm just going with items. So now we're going to extract items from our enrichment chamber and our energized smelter. And we're going to insert them into our interface. Lastly, we're going to create an energy channel. And we're just going to call this power. And we're going to extract energy from our basic universal cable here. And we're going to insert it into each of these machines. Now, I've already ran a cable, as I showed you, for these two machines, but you can connect it here. If you do realize that all of these machines are not getting enough power, you can simply run a dedicated power line for each of these if you so need. But for now, that should be sufficient, and that should be our setup over there. So let's go and set up a pattern. So I'm going to put these away. And next we're going to do with the patterns. I forgot to address one thing right here. So in the fermentation station, we have some settings here in addition to the 4x O processing. And this is kind of relevant to how we have to set up our patterns. So we can choose to set this up when it's full. Now, what is a full what constitutes to a full seal? Well, this entire thing has to be filled, which would require a good amount of ore. Half full requires 2000 millibuckets, and 1 bucket, which, you know, is 1000 buckets, seems like the best answer for us right now, because if we take a look at any of our clusters, alright, so let's take a look at the iron cluster, right? And let's see its uses in the washing factory. One cluster produces 100 millibuckets of raw ore meat, or of iron ore. So to even get 1000 millibuckets, we're going to need 10 of our clusters. And that's as small as we can get this. We can't get full, which would be 4000 millibuckets. That's going to be 40. Half of this, which would be 2000 millibuckets, that's going to be 20. And 1 bucket, which is going to be 1000 millibuckets, that's going to be 10 ore. 10 clusters. So you have to bear that in mind when creating your patterns. So I'm going to go and show you that. Now right here I have an example as I was experimenting and setting up these patterns. As you can see, I have them set up down here just for show purposes, but we are going to tell the system that you need to put 10 clusters, whichever cluster it may be. It could be diamond, iron, gold, copper, whatever it may be. You're going to need 10 of them, and the output of it is going to be 40 of that specific item. And you're going to create patterns like this. So we're going to go over here, and we're going to insert these patterns that I've created. Now I've done this for iron, for osmium, and for gold. As you can see, they follow the same requirements. 10 gold clusters for 40 gold ingots. So we're going to put that in there. Last thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put a speed and a processing upgrade into each of these machines. We're going to make sure that this is 1 bucket and this is 4 times 4. We're going to put this on that right there. Okay, so now everything should be ready for us to test out. So let's go and search craftables only. So we're going to craft 1 piece of gold. And as you see, to craft 1 piece of gold, instead of it just saying, okay, we can only craft 1, Refined Storage will craft the 40 pieces of gold that we've set using the 10 pieces of gold cluster. So we can click start. Let's quickly run over to our machines. We can see, well, it went through the processing right there. And now it's in our fermentation station. Now this one is usually the longest step in our machines right here, but at this point in time and at the small amounts that we're using, we don't have to worry about too much about one of the side effects of the fermentation station, which would be if there is fluids inside of this tank over here, or this side over here, and this one on the other side, is being processed and it's going to be fermented and it's going to be dumped into the right hand side. It would not stop here if there's a fluid here. It will continue to process that fluid and dump it into the right hand side tank. And any fluid, say if it was diamond ore that was in this tank here, it would have been replaced by that same gold liquid. So that's one thing that we have to be wary of. Thankfully, using the current setup of, you know, just processing 10 to get 4 isn't really going to result in that issue coming up, because, well, as you can see, the fluid sieve machine just basically finished processing that, and now our energized smelter is handling it. We can even go, and I can actually show you what happens when we do, let's say we do all three. So we're gonna do gold, we're gonna do some osmium, we're gonna do some iron, and let's do some gold again. Let's see what happens. So the osmium went in. It's stalled out. Why? Because it doesn't have space right here for our osmium ore to go through. So it's going to wait until this is gone over. So this essentially will always be your bottleneck, but thankfully we don't have to worry about it replacing ore. So we're going to wait, and you're going to see that this is just going to simply, you know, run through and do its thing. There we go. There goes the gold ore. Here's the osmium. And look, our iron is going to be processed just now. You see, this entire fermentation station is completely already emptied, which is what you want to have happen. You never want to have this backed up for too much and for too long. Even later on, when you say you're doing 5 times ore processing or whatever the case may be, make sure that you time it in such a way that this fermentation station, the right hand side tank, is always empty, because the moment this left hand side tank goes into here, it's going to erase any fluid in this tank. As you can see, our energized smelter is doing its thing, and anything that we actually needed to go through our enrichment chamber will automatically go into this as it needs to. But for now, we don't have any ore that we need to process that needs to go into our enrichment chamber. Okay, so while this finishes off processing, you can see this is a relatively simple setup, and it's giving us 4 times ore processing. So I think that's where I'm going to call it for today's episode. We utilized a bit of mystical agriculture to get ourselves some additional resources that we never had before. For instance, that basalt that we have in our sluicing factory down below. But as we continue to go on in our quest in mystical agriculture, we quickly realized that we're going to need some bigger, heavier resources, such as diamonds, large amounts of diamonds, which unfortunately we didn't have. That pushed us to do industrial foregoing, which we've set up the latex production all the way over there, as well as ore processing, which is set up right here. And it just so happens that this ore processing is capable of doing 4 times and even 5 times ore processing. At some point later on, we may be able to do this 5 times ore processing, but at current we cannot, because we do not have the required ether gas. Nevertheless, this episode has been, pretty substantial in the sense that we have gotten ourselves 4 times ore processing. So now all of this ore that we have over here, once I take the time, for any of these metals at least, once I take the time, I can generate 4 times its ore. So literally, not redstone. Redstone is probably a very bad idea. So 1 osmium is going to be equal to 4 ingots, as you guys just saw. So thank you all for watching, and take care. Bye bye now.